Hey everyone, welcome to part 7 in the Basic Training Booster Pass edition, where today we're going to cover everything you need to know to play Sky Garden on 150cc. We're going to cover the strategies that I use in my current personal best, along with some easier alternative strats that you can use just in case those are proven to be a bit too much. Sky Garden is probably one of the more frustrating courses to learn in Wave 1 of the DLC, so I hope that the tips and tricks that I'm about to provide are able to help you out. Now without further ado, let's dive right on in. For Sky Garden, we're going to once again go with our tried and true try-hard build. The first 2 turns are taken more or less how you'd expect. Ignore the green leaves on the right hand side of the track for now. We'll get to them later. After that second turn, you're going to want to do a left hop into a left drift so that you can get better alignment around the next turn, and make sure that that's a wide left drift so that you can more easily grab coins 1 through 3. Now on to the first ridiculous strat of the run, and yes, I did say first. After building up a super mini turbo around this turn, you want to do 2 right hops into a left drift off this ramp, and keep holding down the drift button and left on the joystick so that you can charge a mini turbo in mid-air. Then just before you land on this mushroom, release the mini turbo, and then just after bouncing off of it, press the trick button so that you can trick. This mini turbo trick off the mushroom, which is known as a super bounce, will launch you really fast and really far, which is going to save you a lot of time. I'm going to put up an input display here so that you can see how this looks in slow motion. Pay attention to both the angle of the left joystick and the timing of the ZR presses. To understand what's going on here a bit more, the right hops before the ramp serve 2 purposes. The first is to help you use the left drift to build up a mini turbo more quickly. The second is to give you better alignment and positioning when coming off the mushroom trick so that you can take the following turn more tightly. I should also point out that the timing around this mini turbo trick is really annoying to learn, but as long as you do what I said and release the mini turbo before landing on the mushroom, and delay the trick input until after bouncing off the mushroom, you should be good to go. Now if all this is too annoying, you can just trick off the ramp and the mushroom, but you're still going to want to initiate a left drift before tricking off the ramp because it'll help you get better alignment around that following turn, just like before. In either case, once we're done with the mushroom, we're on to the next annoying strat. Build up a super mini turbo around the turn while grabbing coin number 4, and then right hop to release. Then right before you get to the green bridge, start a left drift and build up a mini turbo. Finally do a right hop into a wide right drift to grab coins 5 and 6. What makes this strategy annoying is the mini turbo on the bridge. If we again pay attention to the angle of the joystick on the input display, we can see that we have to soft drift around this turn, meaning that we're going to hold an angle that's slightly above the horizontal in order to build the mini turbo. Otherwise, we'll just fall off the track. Now if you're not that good at soft drifting, an alternative strat is to just build up an ultra mini turbo around the turn after the mushroom, and then just start a right drift without the extra right alignment hop. In either case, we're going to want to build up an ultra mini turbo around the turn after grabbing coins 5 and 6. Do a single left hop to release, or 2 if you're facing too far to the left like I am, and then just drive straight until you get to the end of the green bridge, at which point you'll want to start a wide left drift. If you look closely, you'll see that when you go over the shortcut, the off-road acts like a little ramp, and you get a tiny bit of airtime. Wait until you land, which you'll be able to see based on whenever smoke comes out of your tires, and then use the mushroom. Build up an ultra mini turbo around this turn, and then do some glider vectoring to finish up the lap. One thing to note is that you can actually do that last shortcut without using a mushroom at all. Just build up a super mini turbo and then hop to get out of the off-road. After that, you can just do a mini turbo version of the glider vectoring strat that we talked about before. This saves about half a second, give or take, over just going around, so it's definitely worth it to learn. Laps 2 and 3 are basically the same as lap 1, with the only real difference being that on lap 2, we're going to grab coins 8 and 9 from the inside of the turn before the mushroom cut, and then we're going to be grabbing coin 10 further left up the glider ramp. That's pretty much all the strats for my PB though, so let's talk about the world record a bit. There's 2 major differences here. First, in addition to the mushroom super bounce, the world record does a super bounce off the first leaf on all 3 laps. This saves a ton of time. I'm talking more than half a second per lap, in comparison to what I do, but it's also really difficult to learn how to do properly. This leads to the second difference, which is that the world record uses Mr. Scooty instead of Bitty Buggy. Statistically, the 2 carts are identical, but the smaller hitbox of Mr. Scooty helps get over the off-road to do the leaf super bounce, and also helps avoid the vine and the mushroom cut. I've got a lot more to say about that leaf super bounce, by the way, so let's rant about that a bit while checking out my current personal best. Real quick, if the video's been helpful to you so far, please don't forget to drop a like and a comment, since this is by far the best way to help the video get spread to other people who are looking to improve with the game. Now back to that first super bounce off the leaves. Why is it that I don't go for that if it would allow me to save upwards of almost 2 seconds over my current personal best? Well, like I said, it's really hard. First of all, if you've watched the other videos in this series, You all know how I feel about super bounces in general, and if you haven't, suffice it to say that I hate them. The timing on both the release of the mini turbo and on the trick itself have always been really inconsistent for me, and it's easily one of the most frustrating strategies to learn in the entire game. Now if that wasn't bad enough though, this particular super bounce actually has a tiny patch of off-road in the form of ugly looking clouds just before it, and if you don't drift over the off-road in just the right way, you'll lose your drift and all your speed. Now like I said, this can be more or less negated with Scooty since the smaller hitbox leads to less actual kart dragging against the off-road, but that's not the end of our problems. Oh no. Even if you actually get over the off-road, you still need to successfully perform the super bounce off the first leaf. And because of the weird setup that's involved, this is even more annoying than the mushroom super bounce. But even if you execute the actual super bounce itself properly, you need to hit that first leaf at just the right angle or the super bounce will actually be slower, either because you get launched really high in the air or because you jump clean over that second leaf, missing the second trick boost. So what this all amounts to is that you're going to be going for the strategy where in the best case scenario you're saving more than half a second, but because of how risky everything is, on average you're either breaking even or losing time. So when it comes down to it, the reason that I don't go for the leaf super bounces is that despite how short the course is, there's enough difficult stuff to master without adding in the ridiculousness of the leaf super bounces that I wanted to just save myself the headaches and frustration. And that's everything you need to know to play Sky Garden on 150cc. Can you tell that this was a particularly painful video to put together? All in all, once you ignore the leaf super bounces and you get a consistent strat down for the mushroom super bounce, the course isn't really that bad to run. But if I did manage to help save some pain for you, again, please don't forget to drop a like and let me know how much time you were able to save since it really does help out the channel. Speaking of helping out the channel, just want to give a shout out to all the people who have become members of my YouTube channel. Click on the join button down below if you want to get early access to all my videos and have your username featured in the end credits. Thank you all very much for taking the time out of your day to do some basic training, and as always, I will see you in the next one.